Lab Addicts Music Group. Lab Addicts Music
You know what
Group.
time it is? This is Conversations with Maas. Subscribe now. Lock in. Let's go. Real street, man, we watching Maas. Real street, man, we call on Maas. Real street, man, we watching Maas. Real street, man, we call on Maas.
Lab Addicts Music Group.
This is Conversations with Maas.
Lab Addicts Music Group.
What's goody? What's good? What's good? It's your boy Maasfield, and this is Adult Conversation with Maas. And I hope everybody had a great day. But before we go any further, we got to give thanks to the Most High for allowing us to see another day, see another sunrise, see another sunset, and love on the people that we love. And you all may be wondering why I have this picture up. This is my homegirl, Ryan Nicole Leary. And she is having her art showing. It's been going on since June 21st. And on this Friday here in Cincinnati at Esoteric Brewing, her art showing will be continuing, and she will be on site doing the artist talk, talking about the artistry that she has on display there. You'll be able to ask her questions. You may be able to purchase one of her paintings. But Obnoxiously Large and Unapologetically Black is the title of this art series that she has on display. So if you're in Cincinnati and you'll be here Friday, go check out Ryan's artwork. And you'll see I have some of her artwork I have purchased, and you'll see one of her paintings behind me. And someone complained about my painting not having a frame on it. And I have several paintings that are frameless. But they just gave me an idea that I'm going to share my artwork that I have purchased over the years with you all. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it every day. I may change it every week. It just really depends. But shouts out to everybody watching on Facebook. Shouts out to everybody watching on Rumble. Shouts out to everybody watching on Instagram and Africa TV. My people watching in Nigeria and South Korea. And last but not least, the MA family and everyone watching on YouTube. So yeah, Obnoxiously Large and Unapologetically Black by Ryan Nicole Leary. Go check her out Friday night at Esoteric Brewing, where she'll be doing the artist talk. So yeah, it's your boy. And y'all already know what it is. You all already know what it is. I did something wrong, but yeah. It's Wednesday. Hope everybody's Wednesday's been going good. And tonight, I really didn't have a single topic to talk about. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on in America. There's a lot of stuff that's going on here in Cincinnati. And we're going to talk about that. And a lot of you all may be wondering why I have O'Shea Duke Jackson on my thumbnail. Now, I love O'Shea Duke Jackson. I've been a long time subscriber of O'Shea Duke Jackson. I watch all of the videos that he puts out. He has several different channels. But over the weekend, lots of YouTubers were talking about the Cincinnati brawl. Now, here in Cincinnati, we know that the brawl had nothing to do with the Cincinnati Jazz Fest, now known as the Cincinnati Music Fest. But O'Shea Duke Jackson, he correlated the Cincinnati Music Festival to the fight. And it had nothing to do with that. So I couldn't let O'Shea Duke Jackson, even though I'm a big fan, I love your work, man. But I couldn't let you slight the Cincinnati Music Festival. Things like that don't happen during the Cincinnati Music Festival. It's one of the only events, large-scale events with lots of African Americans attending, that you don't have those types of issues. So the brawl that happened in Cincinnati had nothing to do with the Cincinnati Music Fest. And I had to correct my man O'Shea Duke. I love your videos. I'm still going to continue to watch them and laugh and look at you do your thug thizzle dance that you do. But man, one thing I will say to O'Shea Duke Jackson, get you some headshots, brother, because they got you looking bad on Google. I didn't want to put up a funny picture to make you think that I was throwing jokes at you or nothing, but yeah, brother, take some headshots and put them on YouTube, man, because they got you looking bad on Google when you look up your images, man. So yeah, put some face shots out there. So yeah, man. But shouts out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. I'm still a fan of you, brother, but I had to give you some straightening. I had to give you some straightening. Now, we're going to talk about Bondi. We're going to talk about the Cincinnati Brawl. We're going to talk about Epstein. We're most definitely going to talk about Playboy Trump. And I will say this, that YouTube shadow banned my live yesterday, Playboy Trump, Playboy Donald, and the undoing of MAGA. I don't think they liked that video, so they shadow banned me. So if you didn't get a chance to watch it, go check it out. But yeah, we're going to talk about Aleister Crowley. Many of you may not know about Aleister Crowley, but we're going to talk about Aleister Crowley. And even though this man's been dead for a long time, his influence is still very prevalent. And there are people that are in the news who are, I can't say that they're followers of Aleister Crowley, but they talk about his teachings and some of the things that he has put out into the world. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the weather and how it's been really crazy. And there's lots of talk about how the government is manipulating the weather. We've had mass flooding in areas that really shouldn't flood. I've seen videos allegedly of dams in Texas that were opened, releasing water. Now, I can't confirm that these happened during, but I've seen several videos that show this. As well, there's radar that shows the storm clouds over Texas that were essentially, and the other floods that we've had, where basically buckets of water was coming out of these storm clouds. I mean, whenever you get 26 feet of rainwater in less than 24 hours, something fishy about that. We're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about a lot of things tonight. But shouts out to everybody tuning in. Everybody tuning in, but yeah. Yeah. So yeah, shouts out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. Now, brother, put me out there. Help me grow. You know, little YouTubers watch you, and you watch little YouTubers as well. So put a brother out there, man. Okay, now back to the show. Hit the like button, subscribe to the page, and share this video out. It's been a good Thursday. Now, we'll start off tonight by talking about the Cincinnati brawl. And the police chief came out this morning and basically said there's not going to be a rush to judgment. We're going to look at the totality of what happened from the initial smack to what happened after that initial smack. Now, all of this would have been alleviated if people would just keep their hands to themselves. Now, regardless, I've seen the entire video. Can't find it on the internet any longer. Not sure why. But in the initial video, it shows the drunk Russian man chasing people, swinging wildly, trying to hit people. And there's people trying to hold him back. And like, calm down, man. So they get him calmed down. And all the men come together to basically, pound it out. Dap it up, pound it out. While they're having this conversation, the Russian man casually smacks the man that he's been talking to. Once he smacked that man, the brawl ensued. Now, it wasn't a one-on-one fight. It was like 5 against 2. There were 2 men. One of the men really didn't want any parts of it. And he kind of left his friend to fend for himself. But the man's female friend that was with him, she tried to help, but she was knocked unconscious by some man who should be prosecuted to the fullest extent for sucker punching a woman. Now, there's been conflicting reports that have been coming out that have been saying that 5 people have been arrested, 2 people have been arrested, 3 people have been arrested. We don't know who's been arrested because they have not released any names. There's people putting mug shots and pictures, and this person's been arrested, this person, but there has not been any official, and unless it's changed in the last few hours, but they haven't released any names of the people that have been arrested. And there's conflicting reports, like I said. Some reports say 5 people have been arrested. Some reports say 3 people. Some reports say 2 people. So we don't really know. We know that some people have been arrested, and that basically the police have said that they are still investigating, and there will be more arrests coming soon. Now, today, the police chief came out and said that everyone that was involved would be prosecuted to the fullest extent that they can be prosecuted. So that meant even the Russian man is going to be arrested as well. Probably simple assault. You don't put your hands on people. So here in Cincinnati, the lines are divided. Not really. But I would say that racial lines kind of dictate which side you're on. There are people who say, shouldn't have put his hands on that man. There are people that say, that wasn't a fight, that was a brawl. And there are people saying it's a racial hate crime. And if anything, the hate crime would be on the Russian man's part, because he was the person, from witnesses' accounts, that was spewing the N-word, and that he was going to whoop every N-word out there. Sounds kind of Russian to me. Sounds kind of Russian to me. So, why a man with, at the most, 5 people with him would come out to a crowd of 1,000 black people and say that type of stuff is beyond me. Now, I don't know his mental status at that time. I don't know how inebriated he was, but they did say that he was drunk. But people are mad at the police chief. They're calling her the woke police chief. And I want to say this. Why is it that when a Caucasian person backs, and I won't even say she's backing, she's just saying that we're going to look at the totality of everything from the initial punch. Why does she have to be woke if she's doing what's right? So all Caucasian people who are empathetic towards some situations that FBAs, black people in America, go through, why do they have to be woke? Right is right, wrong is wrong. We should look at the totality of it. There would be no brawl if the man had not have smacked the other man in the face. None of this would have happened, because the first 2 minutes of the video, people are running from this man. They're trying to avoid him. And there are people trying to grab him like, come on, man, come on, man. And when they came together, when they thought cooler heads had prevailed, they wanted to piece it up, let that man walk, because it was thousands of black people there. He smacked the black man. Now, to all the people that are saying that it was a racial hate crime, there was a mob calling people savages, what do you say to the first punch? What do you say to the first punch? Right is right, wrong is wrong. And I applaud the chief of police in Cincinnati for having the guts to come out and say that, no, we're not going to rush to judgment. We're not just going to arrest the people that are on video, because there has been a media scrubbing of the video in its entirety. Because some people in the media are trying to portray what happened in a certain light. But you must look at the beginning of how the whole thing began before you pass judgment. And I applaud Cincinnati's police chief for doing that. There are lots of people who are trying to take political advantage of what's going on. Vice President J.D. Vance, his brother is running for mayor of Cincinnati in the next election. He is trying to get political capital off of what's going on. And we can't let that happen. And the chief of police in a predominantly Republican area bucked the usual and said, we're going to look at the total facts. And I applaud her. I applaud Cincinnati's police chief for having the guts as a lady to say, we're going to look at everything. Everyone will be dealt with. And I applaud her. Now, we will see in the coming days who will be arrested. We know that the man who punched that lady in the face, if he hasn't been arrested yet, they're looking for him. And anybody who probably kicked the man while he was down, they're probably looking for you too. They're probably looking for you too. All actions have consequences. Some good, some bad. How do you all feel about how the media has been trying to portray what happened? And why you all think about that? This painting behind me is one of the paintings by Ryan Nicole Leary that I have purchased. Now, I'm trying to keep my head in a certain spot because, but this is art. There's nothing sexual about this art. I'll stand to the side and let you all. Now, look at that painting. That's a great painting. That's a great painting. Ryan Nicole Leary, this is her work. I have more paintings by her, and I'm going to purchase more. But Ryan Nicole Leary. But yeah. How do you all feel about that? About the general public trying to portray Cincinnati's chief of police as woke just because she's looking at the totality of the facts? Do they not want her to look at the totality of the facts? And these same people who are saying that are probably the same people that are saying we want to see the Epstein files. You can't have it that way on one end and not have it that way on the other end. Equal justice. So how do y'all feel about that? Do you all think that the general public is trying to paint a narrative, as well as some media outlets, as well as the Republicans? They are trying to use this as political capital for J.D. Vance's brother, who will be running for the mayor of Cincinnati against the incumbent mayor. Can't think of his name. But yes, people are allowed to defend themselves. Now, all of those people, it started out as mutual combat and quickly turned into several Black Americans jumping on that Russian man. Now, I'm not absolving anyone from wrongdoing. Everyone was wrong in the situation. So everyone should get swift justice. Not just the man who got jumped because he started it. How do y'all feel about that? Now, the people that jumped in, they should be arrested. The man that punched that lady in the face, he should be arrested. There's a lot of people wig pulling, hair pulling, punching, kicking, the people's elbow. This brawl had a little bit of everything. Now, those guys who were dropping the people's elbow on him, they got a clear shot of y'all's face. I can guarantee y'all are getting arrested. The people's elbow guy, they're looking for you. Man, you, YWG, you don't have the taste to wear this type of hat, man. But I will show you where I purchased it. But yeah, you're not that fresh, bro. I'm messing with you, man. I'm messing with you. But how do you all feel about that? What's up to YWG? What's up to Juggernaut? And everybody, we got Camille in the house. We got Camille in the house. YWG said, I heard a couple channels say that the fight happened at the festival. Enos J, Laura Ingram. Okay, we'll just clear this up. The fight was well after the final singer had sung at the festival. This fight was about 3 miles away from the stadium. Now it is walking distance, but it's not. The fight was not associated with the Cincinnati Music Festival. Laura Ingram, O'Shea Duke Jackson, and anybody else who tried to portray this fight as a black eye for the Cincinnati Music Festival. It was not. It was a black eye for the guy who put his hands on someone unwantedly. As don't put your hands on people. Don't put your lips on people neither. A guy that played for the Raiders, I think his name is Christian Wilkins. The Raiders cut him off the football team because he kissed one of his teammates on the head. Now, he does have a checkered past. They got video of him grabbing people's gonads during the football game, massaging their gonads and putting his fingers in people's backsides. So he's got some weird occurrences that have happened on tape. Might justify them releasing him for kissing one of his team. You can't kiss people and you can't touch people. You can't do none of that. And a man shouldn't be kissing another man on the head unless it's his daddy or his son anyway. Let alone putting your hand in between men's legs and massaging their gonads during a football game. Christian Wilkins is a different type of dude. Different type of dude. Strange, but different. And we'll move away from. Let me go through the comments before I move away to the next subject. He did get that work. Russian dude. Russian dude thought he was back home. Juggernaut said, people are saying it was a what? No, my brother. That was not a Caucasian man who hit that woman. That was a brother. Light-skinned brother. Clear as day. Punched her in the nose. And that is the image. That is the image that is being highlighted by the media. The image of that Caucasian lady laying on her back, knocked out with her eyes open, and blood streaming down her nose. That is the image that they are portraying in the media. You heard about the Cincinnati brawl? You see that lady laying on the ground, knocked out with her eyes open, with blood streaming down. Now that's a part of it, and like I said, we're not absolved. That guy should be arrested, but everyone should be arrested. That wasn't a white dude, believe me. I would show the video, but I think we don't. I don't think we need to show that video again today. I don't think we want to see that woman get her wig pulled off, and I don't want to see that lady knocked out with her eyes open. But if you didn't, go back and check the video about the Cincinnati brawl, and you can see that video. We're not going to do that today. And this is off subject, but let me say this. In the quest to be successful, you have to have people in your corner. You have to. And I want to say thank you and shouts out to the people that are helping me with my second contract that I want. What you are doing for me, make no mistakes about it, you all are a part of my team. You all are investing in my success. And I don't take that lightly. I don't take that lightly. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you are doing to help with my growth. And I love y'all. For real. Because what you all are doing for me, you don't have to do. You don't have to do. And I appreciate you more than words can ever express. Now, back to the show. YWG said Fox News got the case wrapped up. They dropped names and mugshots. Okay. So information is coming out. But the case is not wrapped up. And the public is putting pressure on the chief of police to change her stance. Not sure if she's changed her stance yet, but yeah. That I will say, drinking that liquid courage has gotten many white people. Cincinnati is a drinker's town. Cincinnati is a drinker's town. And Cincinnati, Ohio in general, has some of the toughest DUI laws in the country. And that is a direct reflection on the amount of people who drink that fire water. Me included, but I don't drive drunk. YWG said them folks hijacked the word woke and flipped it on his head to mean what it doesn't mean. I won't disagree with that either. YWG, that's something we should talk about. YWG said Trump is getting these folks smacked up. Is it Trump's fault? I don't think it's Trump's fault because Trump can say what he wants to say. But that don't mean that other people can go out in the general public and say what President Trump is saying behind the Secret Service. Or the people he has emboldened. There's some places where you can say what you want to say. And there's some places you might not want to say what you think you can say. Because sometimes your mouth will sign a check that your ass can't pay. What happened Saturday night was a check that Russian guy couldn't pay. He paid for it. Not in the way he thought. Wow. When did this happen? Called you a mud dweller for speaking your mind. I think your feelings ain't hurt. Right. Juggernaut said it's the chief of police's job to look at all these. Right. So I really don't understand why the general public is mad and saying that this isn't a hate crime. And like I said, if it's a hate crime, it's a hate crime from the Russian man's part because he was the one that was saying the N-word. I don't know. There are words that are negative in light about Caucasians. There are words. I'm not going to say those words on here tonight. I have said them on previous shows just for context, but we're not going to do that tonight. But lots of times black people don't really use those words when in a confrontation with white people. Black people don't automatically go to the race card in confrontation. Now, I never speak in definites, but black people don't tend to use those words on a regular. Yeah. If we have some of my white constituents, because this is an open space. Everybody's here. We got everybody comes and watches the Maas Appeal show. All nationalities. Nobody's opinion is less than the other person's opinion. But if we have white people, Caucasian people in here who have been called names, please enlighten us. And I would say that 90% of the time it's probably in a car. Someone cut someone off, that's not the go-to. The media be meddling. Hey, Will Star, what's going on, brother? But hey, Maas. Scorp Mama. We got Scorp Mama in the house. Where you been at, Scorp? I wore your shirt yesterday. Scorp Mama, one of my fellow Cowboy fans, Will. He said he needs one of those cowboy button downs. He said he's jealous of the button down you made for me. So we got Scorp Mama in the house. Scorp Mama said he needs to get charged. He does. The man that initially he needs to get charged. YWG said they can say whatever they want to say in that new town. They created. Oh, sorry. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk. Hold on. I got that video somewhere. There's an all-white town in Arkansas, and I had the video pulled. Hold on. I think I made. Yes, sir. And I got a couple videos on here that we're going to talk about as well, in addition to what we're already talking about. Now, where is the Russian? We don't know. Mr. Horton, Councilman Horton, I don't know where the Russian is at. They haven't said anything about the Russian yet. They haven't said anything about it. Terrence Horton said, can they find him? He needs to be brought in for questioning at least. Brittany Griner got worse for a weed pen in Russia. Exactly. And if he's Russian, is his visa expired? Is he here illegally? Is the Russian man that was spewing the N-word and smacking people illegally here? That is the question. Are we going to have to call ICE in? Will ICE be at that arraignment? Will ICE make sure that his status in the country is upstanding? When they find the Russian, will ICE be at his arraignment? Only time will tell. YWG said, deport him. Hit the like button. 43 minutes into the show, hit the like button. Should he be deported? Should he be deported for smacking someone? Or would him being deported be insult to the injuries that he received in that beatdown? You know what? Should he be deported? And you all see that sign on the thumbnail. We are all immigrants. I think there are FBAs here in America who would disagree with that statement. FBAs are not immigrants. We were here. So there's only one group of people that aren't immigrants. And it's the FBAs. The people who they say have no culture. Our culture is right here. We are the indigenous people of America along with the Indians. We didn't come here on boats. Now, there are some people that came here on boats. And when those boats landed on those shores, we were already here. So no, we are not all immigrants. FBAs are not immigrants. We are indigenous. How do y'all feel about that? Are we all immigrants? And if we are all immigrants, how do people stake claim to this place and tell people to go home? If we are all immigrants, but we're not all immigrants. Well, FBAs aren't immigrants because we were here. Juggernaut said, even though they got beat down, they stayed focused because this too is this a distraction? It's not a distraction for Epstein files because we still want those files. Tara said, I call my white friends all kinds of disparaging names. Councilman Horton, we're not gonna ask what names, because those are your friends. Those are people that you grew up in E-Town when you were going to North Hardin High School. We're not gonna bring that up. We're not gonna bring that up. We're gonna leave that where it was. Yeah, see, I knew Councilman Horton when we were in college. Me and Councilman Horton go way back, and yeah, Councilman Horton grew up in the country, so. Yeah, we're gonna leave that there, Councilman. Y'all, yeah, we're gonna talk about the all white town. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. I got a video for that. Yeah, they have. We've been here. We've been here. Scorp said her peoples was nappy-headed Indians. They Blackfoot. That's what my grandmother told me we was. Blackfoot. Blackfoot Indians. All they have is a community center and a schoolhouse. That's not a town, it's a retreat. Get a bank and a grocery store. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Exactly, Terrence Horton. We've been here. We've been here. No, Score. We don't want to boycott the island folks, Score. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. But we are not all immigrants. So I put that poster on the thumbnail for a reason, because we are not all immigrants. We're not. Now, Pam Bondi. The question I have about Pam Bondi is her allegiance to America and the American people, or is her allegiance to President Trump? Is her allegiance to the American people in the work that she's doing? Or is the work that she's doing the benefit of President Trump? And the reason I say that is she has seen all the Epstein files. She alerted President Trump that his name was in there numerous times. Is her, well, we know her allegiance is to Trump, because if her allegiance wasn't to Trump, and regardless of what she found in those Epstein files, she would have released them. There are checks and balances that are in place to combat this type of loyalty, because the loyalty is not to the American people. In truth, it seems like the loyalty is to President Trump and the cover-up. Score, what somebody do to you in Florida? What somebody from the islands do to you when you was visiting Florida? Yes, Pam Bondi. Who is her allegiance to? And is it troubling? Is it troubling that her allegiance seems to be more to Donald Trump than the American people in truth? Scorp said Immigrants came to take our resources. I can't say that I mean, they do use the resources when they come here, and they don't pay taxes. But I will say this: there are people from America that go to the islands and go to Brazil and go to Costa Rica and go to Dominican Republic to get cheaper health care. But in order to get that cheaper health care, you have to have the ability to get there and be there for an extended amount of time. And not everyone can do that. But yes, there is some give and take. And yes, they do come here and use the resources. Yes, they do. Oh, they've been on YouTube. You're going to have to send me some of those. Send me the links to them videos. Send me the links to them videos, Score. You know, we can get active. We can get active. This FBA all day over here. It's FBA all day. But to everybody watching on Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, it's time to say goodbye. And for you all to come over to YouTube. Come over and join the conversation. Come over and talk with us. Don't just look. Come join the conversation. Shouts out to everybody that tuned in on YouTube. On Facebook. Shouts out to everybody that tuned in on Rumble. And shouts out to everybody who tuned in on Instagram. But y'all got to come over here to YouTube and join the conversation. Juggernaut said Bondi is loyal to him to cover up the wrongdoings. And Donald Trump came out a few days ago and said that President Obama had committed treason. Now, I'm not one to agree with everything that President Obama did, but I will 100% say that he's not guilty of treason. Not from what I can see. But I'm not privy to everything. So, but I don't. If Pam Bondi covers up wrongdoings for Donald Trump, is that treason? Or is it just, what would that be called? Is that treason? Is that treason if Pam Bondi is covering up wrongdoings by President Trump and the other people that are in the Epstein files? Is that treasonous? Is that treasonous? Is that treasonous? If Pam Bondi is covering up things that Donald Trump, amongst others, other elite people have done, is that treasonous? Or is that just wrong? Okay, I got you. I'll send you an email after the show. YWG said, did you see that video of white folks fleeing America because they can't afford to live here? No, I haven't seen that video. There's a lot of people that can't afford to live in America. Americans are being priced out of America.
You go to the grocery store now. You used to see people go in the grocery store and they would just be throwing everything. Now you see people. Yeah, I'm everybody. We're all in the stores. We're all in the stores looking at prices. Yeah, people aren't just indiscriminately throwing things in. Yeah, I see it all the time now. Yeah, I got my little calculator with me. Yeah, it's rough out here. It's rough out here. And if Caucasians are leaving, where are they going? To Europe? I don't think Europe is. Where are they going? Mexico don't want them down. Mexico does not. They don't. I don't even know if Mexico want FBAs down there. But yes, Pam Bondi, her allegiance to Donald Trump is it needs to be looked into. Because if she's loyal to Donald Trump, then she's not loyal to the American people. And the truth is in the Epstein files. Those Epstein files need to be released. Because if the Epstein files aren't released, then is Prince Andrew going to be granted his nobility status? Because nothing was found. If nothing was found, why did Queen Elizabeth strip him of his nobility before she died? And he's not the only one. He's not the only one. And Ghislaine Maxwell, if they give her immunity, will something happen to her before she testifies? Will something happen to her before she testifies? White people are moving to Thailand. It's cheaper living. I have seen where some I saw where a man and his wife and their 5 children, they moved to Thailand and their life is great. I think lots of people are looking to move outside of America. I know I am. I would rather retire where my money goes a lot farther than it goes here in America. And if you've been out of the country, you know that people in these other countries make money that's commiserate to what we make, and they work a fraction of the hours. 40-hour work week. They're not working on 40-hour work week in Europe. They're not working on 40-hour work week in the islands. Now, Asia, that's different. America, yeah. People in other countries aren't working themselves to the bone with little returns. So people are looking at leaving the country. The government needs to take a hard look at itself. When you have people that are leaving the country because they can't afford it, something needs to be looked at. But yeah, Pam Bondi, her allegiance to Donald Trump is it should be looked into. It should be looked into. So is she a attorney or is she a Trump defender? Can't be both. You work for the what can the American people do to hold her feet to the fire so that she has some accountability? What can we do? Do we need to reach out to our congressmen and state senators as constituents? What can we, the people, do to influence our elected government officials to release the Epstein files? What can we do? What can we do? Is the world we live in, is it changing for better? Is it changing for worse? Is the world changing for better or for worse? With all of the technological advancements that we have been seeing, what benefit is it to the general public? If people don't have jobs, how can people buy robots? Technical advancements are supposed to be for the good of humanity so that everyone enjoys the fruits of what is created. I think it's safe to say that the 1% are the only people that are enjoying the fruits of everything. When are the 99 going to wake up? April Showers, you got April Showers in the house. April Showers, you was kicking, you was dropping some gems. Last show I watched of yours, you was dropping some gems. Squirt Mama said, you mean to tell me I can go live like you can go? I'll be honest. When I go to the Caribbean, everything is just so much cheaper. I can eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner if I'm eating in the barrio for less than a large Big Mac meal. Some places you can spend about $3 US for breakfast, some $3 US for lunch, and you may spend about 6 to 7, 8 US for dinner. But yeah, you can eat all day for what you pay for one Big Mac meal when you get outside the country. Now, in places where there are tourist areas where they know the Americans aren't trying to venture out, you're going to get American prices. But when you go into the barrio and you go into where the locals are, that's what you need to do. If Americans, y'all go and y'all stay on the resort, you got to get off the resort because the resort, they have everything for you there because they don't want you to leave. Because if you leave and go into the city and into the barrio, yeah, you'll never stay at the resort again. Their job is to keep you on the resort. No, you got to get out and get into the city. Got to get out and get into the city. Yep. Scorp said then she need to get the hell out. I mean, a lot of people getting the hell out, Scorp. Juggernaut said the food is healthier. Yes, the food is healthier. The fruit is fresh. When I'm in the Dominican Republic, you can walk down the street and people got mango trees. You can just pick a mango off the tree and nobody's gonna say anything. Nobody's gonna say anything if you pick a mango off the mango tree. That's what it's there for. That's what it's there for. YWG said when he was in Brazil, he was catching Ubers for $4, at the most $10. Stuff is a lot cheaper when you get out of the country. It's a lot cheaper. And Juggernaut, not all the killer chemicals. Yeah. It's one thing I will say. I ate a watermelon when I was in the Dominican Republic. Oh my God. It was probably the best watermelon I've had in about 10 years. The watermelon was so good. It was so good. April Shower said, the world is changing for the worst. And that's we're talking about this stuff, and the world we are living in is changing. Is it getting better or worse? Is it getting better or worse? That was the overall thing for tonight's conversation. And you all are wondering why I have Aleister Crowley up there. We just crossed the hour and 7 minutes. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Quit playing with me. Hit the like button. And the reason that I have Aleister Crowley up there is he's been dead for some years. And there are people that say that he is Barbara Bush's dad. And there are people that say that Barbara Bush was a man. Allegedly. But Aleister Crowley and his teachings have been prevalent under the surface for a long time. And there are people in high places who follow his creeds. Do as thou wilt. Jay-Z. Do as thou wilt. And if you've never heard of Aleister Crowley, I think you may want to look him up. And throughout time, there have been many, many celebrities and many, many elite people who have followed his teachings. And now, it's still around. You have the weird looking old lady that's married to the fashion tycoon. Her fingers are black and she always looks like a witch. I can't think of her name. It looks really, really demonic to me. But Aleister Crowley and his teachings are very, very prevalent. And people that are in the news now are followers of him. And I'm just going to go down a list of people. And he's an occultist. He's an occultist. He said that, in his sleep. Hold on. Let me go to it. Where is that at? Here we go. He has been called the wickedest man in the world and a master of darkness. Aleister Crowley was born in 1875 in Warwickshire, England. He wrote this book called The Book of the Law in 1904 while he was in Egypt. He was 29 years old when he wrote that book. He is an occultist, and he said that the information came to him when he wrote the book, the book of the law. He said that an entity came to him in his sleep. I'm trying to find. And basically, while he woke up from his sleep and he wrote that book in one sitting. And Jay-Z is a follower of him. Sammy Davis Jr. was a follower of him, as well as Anton LaVey in the Church of Satan. David Bowie was a follower of Aleister Crowley. Azalea Banks is a follower of Aleister Crowley. Dan Aykroyd. Like I said, Sammy Davis Jr. Daryl Hall from the Hall and Notes. Giselle Bundchen, allegedly. And this is all allegedly. That these people followed the occult teachings of Aleister Crowley. And the list goes on. The list goes on. The list goes on. Many people that you are very familiar with. They are throwing the musings of a man who was purported to be the most wicked man in the world. And they called him the Prince of Darkness. I wouldn't want that man influencing any body that I listen to musically or anything. We have to pay more attention about what our five senses are taking into our bodies. Because these people are influencing everyone, and the children most of all. There's a video of little Uzi Vert basically telling people, oh, you've been listening to the music, you going to hell with me. It's too late now. You done already chanted it. You done already said the spells. You're going to hell with me. He said this in his video. You never know what they're putting in the music. Because there are people that say that the English language is occultist in itself. And that's why we say we're spelling, we're spells. You have words that are spelled the same, that are spelled different, that have the same pronunciations, but different meanings. As a people, we must pay attention to what our five senses puts into our temple. Now, I know I'm speaking foreign to a lot of you all when I'm talking about Aleister Crowley, but look him up. Look Aleister Crowley up and look at some of the people that follow him and look at some of the stuff that he says. People that you wouldn't even think follow this man and believe in his teachings. Jay-Z. Do as thou wilt. He has a t-shirt with it. He has a t-shirt with do as thou wilt. Hold on, I'll show you. Because I don't want y'all to think that I'm just putting a lot of conjecture out there. But yeah. I'm not gonna show that because I'm not gonna say they're a dynamic duo. But yeah. Hold on. Show y'all. Do as thou wilt. That is one of Aleister Crowley's main sayings. And there was a picture that said the dynamic duo and had him standing next to Aleister Crowley. But yeah. There are people out here fighting for your soul. They're fighting for the energy that you create. And they're not doing it for the good. They're not doing it for the good. But yeah, I wanted to, even we're talking about current events, but I wanted to throw something in there that was a little different for you all. But yeah, once again, if you are in Cincinnati and you will be here Friday, I implore you to go to Esoteric Brewing to check out Ryan Nicole Leary. This is her website. This is some of, this is some of her work. This is basically, she's talking about obnoxiously large and unapologetically black. She has lots of good artwork. This is some of her work. This is some of Ryan Nicole Leary's paintings. Some of her work, you all. I'm just giving you a taste of some of the things that she's done, some of the work that she's created. It's my homegirl. We went to college together. This line right here is called A Mosaic of Melanin. You all should check her out if you're an art lover. She has something in her collection that you would like. So yeah, these are some of her collections that she has done. So yeah, I always want to give a highlight to artists, to people that I know, to entrepreneurs that I know. Her work is showing at Esoteric Brewing here in Cincinnati. Go check her out. She's a lovely person. She's a beautiful person. She's a great artist. She's a good friend. I implore you all to check her work out. Purchase something from her. And like I said, if you're in the Cincinnati area, her work is showing right now at Esoteric Brewing. She'll be doing an artist talk on Friday where she'll be discussing her artwork, the exhibits that she has there. So yeah, if you're here, go check her out. I love Ryan's work. So yeah, I wanted to highlight. This is one of my favorites of hers right here. This one right here. This is one of my favorites. But yeah, if you're an art lover, check her out. Check her website out. www.ryannicolestudios.com. Go check her out. So yeah, she's a great artist. And this is the last one, some of her older work. She's an educator. She teaches art. She works in conjunction with the Cincinnati Art Museum. This is some of her older work. You can see some of the stuff that she's done and where she is at now. So yeah, go check out Ryan. Yeah, go check out Ryan. But yeah, we are hour and 22 minutes into the show. We're hour and 22 minutes into the show. Juggernaut TV said the world has shifted to a new vibration and you can feel it, and some people can't handle the frequency. Yeah. Juggernaut says we have been lied to and sold a false narrative. Period. Point blank. Laura Wise, thanks for showing up. Hey, Laura, how you doing tonight? Laura Wise said, I love Ryan. She's amazing. I'm going to check her for I will be there as well. I may do a live or some shorts from her exhibit, but I will be there Friday night at Esoteric Brewing for Ryan's artist talk. But yeah. You need to get to Esoteric Beer. That's where her art is. Yeah. Go to Esoteric Beer. Purchase one of Ryan Nicole's paintings. Yes. Yeah, YWG, man. You might have to get some of those paintings. What does do as thou wilt mean? Okay. Hold on. Let me go back to it. Because I don't want to give the wrong meaning. I want to be right. So here we go. The phrase, do as thou wilt, originates from Aleister Crowley's Dilemma philosophy, emphasizing individual freedom and self-actualization, basically seeing yourself. It suggests that one should pursue their true will or purpose without external constraints. In contrast, biblical teachings advocate living according to divine will, as seen in scriptures like Mark 22, verse 37 through 39, which emphasizes love for God and neighbor. This phrase can lead to moral relativism, while the Bible upholds absolute moral truths, encouraging believers to seek and discern God's will. Do as thou wilt means get it by any means necessary, whether it's good or bad or nefarious, get it done. Don't think about the next man. Do as thou wilt. Yeah. Basically, they say that do as thou wilt was basically what the devil gave them the freedom to do as thou wilt. So that is what do as thou wilt means. Basically, if you got to murder somebody to get it done. Do as thou wilt to achieve whatever goals you have, which is the opposite of God's will. Scorp said the jab got folks messed up. The jab We back to talking about the jab. We're back to talking about the jab. But let's continue. And this first video I'm gonna show y'all. We're not gonna do the. I'm not going to do the Arkansas all white town first. This first young man that I'm gonna show this video about was a young man that basically came out a couple months ago, about 6 months ago, and said that he had created gasoline with plastics. He was making gas out of plastic. Hold on, y'all. Okay. This is him. About 6 months ago, he came out that he created an alternative fuel from recycled plastics. Now, in the last month and a half, he came out and said that he was being stalked and that people were threatening him harm. Well, he's been missing for 2 weeks. No one knows where he's at. And I'm going to let you all hear this little story about him.
Young inventor with a big idea, and now he's missing. Julian Brown, the mind behind turning plastic waste into fuel, hasn't been seen in over 2 weeks. What happened to him? Julian Brown, also known online as Jab, is a 776 Foundation Climate Fellow and the founder of 2 green companies, Nature Jab and Jabarima. At just 12th grade level education, he's already built tech that could change the world. A microwave pyrolysis system that turns plastic into gasoline. He's been featured on platforms like the Weather Channel and praised for live demos showing exactly how his process works. But now, he's missing. According to multiple social media posts, Julian hasn't been heard from since July 3rd, 2025. It's been over 2 weeks. Friends, followers, and fellow activists are worried, especially after he previously posted about safety concerns. Activist Nikki the God said Julian had rejected help from grassroots organizations, and now a white podcaster is allegedly speaking about him in the past tense, as if something terrible has already happened. On Facebook, people like Mark Miller and Matt Eaches are calling attention to the case. Miller said Julian had a, quote, mental breakdown before disappearing, but emphasized, this is not a joke. This man turned plastic into gasoline. Others have pointed out a disturbing pattern. He's not the first Black inventor working on alternative energy to vanish. Posts with the hashtag Where's Julian Brown are now flooding timelines, with many wondering if his groundbreaking invention made him a target. Whether Julian Brown is missing by choice, in hiding, or something worse, his disappearance has sparked serious questions about how we protect and support young Black innovators. If you have any information, please contact local authorities. And if you haven't heard of Julian Brown before now, look him up. This is someone who was trying to change the world.
All right, listen, everybody. I can't go into too much detail, but there is some very, very odd stuff going on. I'm certainly under attack right now in many different ways, and I just want everybody to know to just kind of have your eyes open. And I have my eyes open. Like, there's a lot going on. So I'm still working. I'm keep still building. Nothing's going to stop that. But I'm just telling you guys right now, be on the lookout because I'm under attack. I just finished what.
So yeah, this young man out of Atlanta created gasoline out of plastic. And that was his last video. And he's been missing for 2 weeks. So let's pray for that brother. Let's hope that that brother returns safely. Whenever you bring something up or you invent something that's going to change the natural progression of how money flows, those people tend to come up missing. There was also, if you all remember, back in 2024, there was a grocery store mass shooting in, I think, Buffalo. And there was a security guard that worked there who had filed for a patent for an engine that he created that ran off water. He was the first person that was killed in that mass shooting in Buffalo. Coincidence or setup? There was also a white man. He also invented a car that ran off of water. He died. So whenever you invent something that changes where the flow of money comes, these people tend to end up missing. And the reason I wanted to talk about this tonight is because it correlates to the type of power that Donald Trump has. And the people in his cabinet don't work for the American people. They work for Donald Trump and his best interest, even if his best interest isn't America's best interest. And that's dangerous. And that's dangerous. And that's why I wanted to bring this up, because anytime you have inventors that are going missing for creating things that will make the world population free and they come up dead, you need to look at that stuff. We need to look at that stuff. Now, the video y'all been waiting on. Video y'all been waiting on. This video is funny, to say the least. But here we go, y'all. Inside Arkansas's all-white town.
No blacks, no Jews, no gays. High up in the Ozark Hills, in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, building houses and a new type of community. It's called Return to the Land, and it is a town open to white people only. They are millennials and Gen Z. This is a new update of age-old prejudice.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
White American culture.
But what this sounds like is bringing back segregation. Is that a fair assessment?
It's free association. So we're not trying to keep other people down. This is a small settlement in the middle of the Ozarks.
But they are being kept out, even if...
You don't let everyone into your home.
Around 40 people live here. Hundreds more from across the world have paid to be members. And while the men do the physical labor, the women take care of the children who live here full time.
It could be a very loving community if you're part of the community, but if you're black, or if you're Jewish, or if you're gay, you can't be part of that community.
They can have their own communities, and they already do.
You might be wondering how any of this can be legal. Return to the Land is structured as a private members association, which they believe allows them to discriminate on the basis of ethnicity, along with other factors. That has yet to be tested in the courts and may well fail. The Arkansas Attorney General has said his office is now reviewing the matter as a result of our reporting, and that there is no room for racial discrimination in Arkansas or anywhere in a free society.
Hidden deep in the northern.
Stream better with research.
How y'all feel about that? And the reason I say, how do you all feel about that is because we've been having discussions on segregation. We've had people in the chat that have said that segregation is the way to go for Black people to basically be whole. And this is the other side of that. So is it racist that people want to segregate themselves away from other people? YWG said the NAACP. Okay. Why? Okay. And my thing is why would the NAACP fight this? If those people don't want you there, I mean, there are people that were in this chat that said that segregation is the way to go. This is the other side of that. So if Black people segregate away, and I'm guessing that Black people would segregate themselves away, just as this group is doing, how is that different than what they're doing in the Ozarks? How is segregating yourself as Black people, FBAs, whatever, different than what these people are doing in the Ozarks? And if it's wrong for the people in the Ozarks to do it, is it wrong for Black people to want to segregate themselves where it will be a Blacks only town? Or would it be a Blacks only town, or would it be a community where you want to have like-minded people, whether they're Black or white? How is this segregation going to, because it can't be, the NAACP can't sue these people, and then you have Black groups that are trying to segregate themselves. It's going to happen to them as well. So what is the difference? YWG said he's cool with this. Should the NAACP be trying to fight these people? Juggernaut said that's the problem with some Black people. Always want to go eat where you're not wanted. Why would the NAACP fight this? Is it a waste of money, a waste of time? Are we moving to an America that will be segregated? We're talking about the world is changing. Is it for the good or is it for the bad? And we're moving to groups wanting to segregate themselves away from people, away from people that they don't want to be around. If they don't want to be around people, who's to tell them that they have to if they have the means to move away where nobody can? They can have their potato salads and raisins. Okay. Juggernaut said it's a waste of resources for the NAACP to fight those people in the Ozarks. I don't know any Black people that want to move to the Ozarks. I could be wrong. YWG said maybe they will stop bothering us when we want our own turn. That ain't gonna happen. But my thing is why would the NAACP fight this? Why would what is the purpose of the NAACP fighting this? What would the NAACP accomplish by they gonna move a black family up there just to? I don't agree with it. I think that's a waste of money for the NAACP to say that, man, if them people want to buy some land and they want to annex it off and they don't, man, let them people have at it. Because if black people say they want to do the same thing, you can't have it one way and not the other. Let them, man, that's a waste of NAACP. Don't waste your money. Because if they don't want us to live there with them, we don't want to live there. Let them people be peaceful, NAACP. Don't waste your money. Put that money back into the United Negro College Fund. YWG said, I will say this. I think the town will fail because they can't live around them. Wow. They can't even live around themselves, YWG? Okay. The NAACP needs something to do. It's a waste of taxpayer. That's a waste of the money that the people will donate to the NAACP. NAACP, don't waste your money. Don't waste your money. We had discussions tonight on different topics.
Lab Addicts Music Group.
Different tonight. And not just talk about one topic. I wanted to talk about topics that are in conjunction with one another. Because we are living in a changing world. And we need to see, is it going to be a better world or worse off? And just based off first 7 months, 2025, I'm just going to say we're in a downward flight. What is going to be done to change this? And it's not just America, it's all over the world. And there are a lot of people who say that what's going on in the world right now politically has everything to do with Donald Trump. We've seen his failed threats to other nations, tariffs. One day they got a tariff, they don't have. And now he's flip-flopped on the Epstein trial. Now they don't want to move. What did Pam Bondi tell him? What did Pam Bondi tell him?
Lab Addicts Music Group. Lab Addicts Music Group. Lab Addicts Music Group.